welcome back. Take a look at the pennies around you, because one of them could be far more valuable than you ever imagined. The Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin has been in circulation for decades, quietly passing from hand to hand. But hidden among them are a few rare pieces that collectors would pay serious money to own. What makes it even more surprising is that these valuable coins don't look special at first glance. It all comes down to small details most people never notice. In today's video, we're uncovering ultra-rare Lincoln Memorial pennies that have shocked collectors and continue to be discovered in everyday change. Stay with us until the end because the final coin might be the one you've been overlooking, and it could already be in your possession. First up, we take a closer look at the 1972 Lincoln 1-cent penny with the S Mint mark, a coin that may seem simple at first glance, but carries a deeper story that many collectors continue to explore even today. This coin comes from a time when the United States Mint was producing large numbers of pennies for everyday use, and most of them passed quickly through people's hands without much attention. But as with many coins from this era, hidden details, small variations and rare errors can turn an ordinary-looking piece into something truly valuable. This particular coin, struck in 1972 at the San Francisco Mint, is identified by the small S Mint mark located just below the date on the front of the coin. The San Francisco Mint is known for producing both circulation coins and special proof coins, and while many 1972 S pennies were made, not all of them are the same in quality or appearance. Some were made with extra care for collectors, while others were released into circulation and used in daily transactions. On the front of the coin, also known as the obverse, you will see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This design was created by Victor David Brenner and has been used on the penny since 1909. Lincoln faces to the right, with the word liberty to the left and the phrase "I in God we trust" above his head. The date 1972 appears to the right, along with the small S Mint mark. Even though this coin is in circulated condition, these main design elements are still visible, though they may appear worn and less sharp than when the coin was first minted. The back of the coin, known as the reverse, features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 to 2008. The memorial stands in the center, with the words United States of America above it and 1 cent below. If you look very closely, especially on coins in better condition, you can even see a tiny image of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. However, in circulated coins like this one, many of these fine details become soft or harder to see due to years of use. Now let's talk about the condition of this coin, because condition plays a very important role in how collectors view and value it. This 1972 S penny is clearly circulated, which means it has been used in everyday transactions for a long time. The surface shows visible wear with scratches, dirt, and a general dull appearance. The high points of the design, such as Lincoln's hair and beard, are flattened, and the coin has lost its original bright shine, also known as mint luster. The overall color of the coin appears dark and uneven, which is common for older copper coins. Over time, copper reacts with air and moisture, causing it to change from its original reddish color to brown or even darker shades. This natural process is called oxidation. While heavy wear and dirt may reduce the coin's basic appearance, they do not automatically remove its potential value, especially if the coin has a rare feature or error. This is where things become interesting. Even though millions of 1972 S pennies were produced, collectors are always searching for special varieties and mistakes from this year. One of the most well-known types of errors in 1972 pennies is the doubled die variety. This happens when the coin's design is stamped more than once in slightly different positions, creating a visible doubling effect on the letters or numbers. While the most famous doubled die comes from the Philadelphia Mint, similar types of errors can still appear on coins from other mints, including San Francisco. Collectors also look for off-center strikes, where the design is not properly aligned on the coin, or die cracks, where lines appear on the surface due to damage in the minting tools. Some coins may also have unusual textures or color tones that make them stand out. These small differences can turn a common coin into something much more desirable. Another important factor is the mint mark itself. The S Mint mark tells collectors where the coin was made, and coins from different mints can have different levels of quality. San Francisco coins, especially proof versions, are often made with more detail and care. Even circulated examples can sometimes show stronger design features compared to coins from other mints. What makes this coin exciting is the idea that even a worn and dirty penny could still hold something special. Many valuable coins have been found in circulated condition, simply because people did not realize what they had. Over time, collectors have learned that it is always worth taking a closer look, even at coins that seem ordinary. Now let's talk about value, which is what many people are most curious about. While most circulated 1972 South pennies are very common, rare error versions or coins with unique features can reach impressive prices. In some cases, collectors have paid over $110,000 for a 1972 penny with strong and clearly visible doubling or other major mint errors. These high values are not based on the coin's metal, but on its rarity, uniqueness, and demand among collectors. It's important to understand that not every coin will reach such high numbers, but the possibility is what keeps collectors searching. The idea that a simple penny could be worth such a large amount of money makes coin collecting both exciting and rewarding. It also shows that value is not always about age or appearance, but about the story behind the coin and the details hidden within it. For anyone who finds a 1972 penny, the best thing to do is to examine it carefully. Look closely at the date, the letters, and the overall design. Check for any unusual doubling, misalignment, or strange marks. If something looks different from a normal coin, it might be worth getting it checked by a coin expert or grading service. Handling is also important. Try to hold the coin by its edges and avoid touching the surface too much, as oils from your fingers can cause further damage. Never clean the coin even if it looks dirty, because cleaning can remove important details and reduce its value. This coin is a great reminder that even the smallest and most common objects can have hidden stories and potential. It connects us to a time when coins were used every day, passing from person to person, each one carrying a piece of history. And sometimes, among those millions of coins, a rare and valuable piece quietly survives, waiting to be discovered. So the next time you come across a 1972 Lincoln penny with an S mint mark, don't ignore it. Take a closer look, study its details, and imagine the journey it has taken over the years. Because in the world of coin collecting, even a worn and ordinary penny can turn out to be something truly extraordinary. Next up, we take a closer look at the 1963 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny with the D mint mark, a coin that may look simple and well used, but still carries a rich story and hidden potential that collectors never ignore. At first glance, this penny appears to be in good circulated condition. It has clearly been used in everyday life, passing through many hands over the years. The surface shows light to moderate wear, especially on the higher parts of the design like Abraham Lincoln's hair and cheek. The original bright copper color has likely faded into a soft brown tone, which is completely normal for a coin of this age. Even with this wear, the coin still holds clear and readable details. On the front, you can see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right. The word Liberty appears to the left, and the date 1963 is shown on the right. Just below the date, you will notice the small D mint mark. This tiny letter tells us that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, and it plays an important role in how collectors identify and study coins. The back of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been used since 1959. Even in circulated condition, the outline of the memorial is still visible, along with the words United States of America and 1 cent. If you look closely, you might even spot the tiny figure of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, which is one of the most interesting details on this coin. Now let's talk about what makes this coin more than just an ordinary piece of change. The year 1963 falls into an important period in U.S. coin production. During the early 1960s, the United States Mint was increasing production to meet growing demand. With machines running at high speeds, small mistakes sometimes happened, and those mistakes are what collectors search for today. Coins like this, even in circulated condition, are always checked carefully for errors. One of the most valuable types of errors is the doubled die. This happens when the design is stamped more than once in slightly different positions, causing the letters or numbers to appear doubled. Another possible error is a die crack, which shows up as a raised line across the surface of the coin. There are also off-center strikes, where the coin was not properly aligned during minting, causing part of the design to be missing. In rare cases, coins are struck on the wrong metal, which is known as a wrong planchet error. These kinds of mistakes are very rare and can turn an ordinary coin into something extremely valuable. Even though your coin is in good circulated condition, these types of errors can still be present. Wear may soften the details, but it does not remove the mistake. That is why collectors always take a closer look, even at coins that seem common. The brown color of your coin is another important detail. Copper coins naturally change color over time due to oxidation. When they are new, they appear bright red. As they age and are exposed to air and moisture, they turn red-brown and eventually brown. This natural toning is normal and often preferred by collectors because it shows the coin has not been cleaned or altered. The 1963 D Lincoln penny also represents a time just before major changes in U.S. coinage. Only a couple of years later, in 1965, the composition of coins like dimes and quarters would change due to rising silver prices. While pennies remained mostly copper, this period still marks an important moment in mint history. What makes this coin exciting is not just its history but its potential. While most 1963 pennies are common, a rare error or unusual feature can completely change its value. A coin from this year with a strong and clear mint error, even in circulated condition, can reach values between $95,000 and $144,000 depending on the rarity and visibility of the feature. That is what makes coin collecting so interesting. It is not just about finding perfect coins. Sometimes, the real treasures are hidden in coins that have been used and overlooked for years. This penny has likely been part of many everyday moments. It may have been used in stores, saved in jars, or passed down through collections. Every mark and bit of wear tells a story of its journey through time. If you ever come across a coin like this, take a moment to study it. Look closely at the date, the mint mark, and the details of the design. Check for anything unusual, even if the coin looks ordinary. And always remember, do not clean the coin, as cleaning can remove important surface details and reduce its value. The 1963 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny with the D mint mark is a great reminder that even the smallest coins can carry history, meaning, and sometimes even hidden value. It shows us that something simple can become special if we take the time to look a little closer. Because in the world of coin collecting, even a worn and common-looking penny can turn out to be something truly amazing. Next up, we take a closer look at the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny with the D mint mark, a coin that may seem simple at first, but carries a quiet story of history, use, and hidden potential. This coin is in good circulated condition, which means it has been part of everyday life for many years. It has likely passed through countless hands, been used in stores, and spent time in pockets, jars, and collections. Because of that, the coin shows clear signs of wear, especially on the high points of the design. When you look at the front of the coin, you will see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right. Over time, the fine details in his hair and cheek have become smoother due to circulation. The word Liberty is still visible on the left side, and the date 1971 appears on the right. Just below the date, you will notice the small D mint mark. This is an important detail because it tells us that the coin was made at the Denver Mint. Mint marks help collectors understand where a coin was produced, and sometimes coins from certain mints can have slight differences in quality or strike. Even though the coin shows where, the main design is still clear and easy to recognize. That is what places it in good circulated condition. The surface may also show small scratches, tiny marks, and a darker brown color. This color change is natural for copper coins. When they are new, they appear bright red, but over time they react with air and moisture and turn brown. This is called oxidation, and it is completely normal. Now let's turn the coin over and look at the reverse side. You will see the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been used since 1959. Even in this worn condition, the shape of the memorial is still visible, along with the words United States of America at the top and 1 cent at the bottom. If you look very closely, you might even notice the small figure of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. This tiny detail makes the design unique and interesting, even on a small coin like this. The year 1971 falls into a time when the United States Mint was producing large numbers of coins to meet the needs of the public. Machines were running fast and coins were being made in huge quantities. Because of this, small mistakes sometimes happened during production. Most coins were made correctly, but a few slipped through with errors. These errors are what collectors are always searching for. Even a coin in good circulated condition like this one can still hold something special. One of the main things collectors look for is a double die error. This happens when the design is stamped more than once in slightly different positions. It can cause the letters or numbers to appear doubled. Another type of error is a die crack, which shows up as a raised line on the coin's surface. There are also off-center strikes, where the coin was not properly aligned during minting. This causes part of the design to be missing or shifted. In rare cases, coins are struck on the wrong type of metal, which is known as a wrong planchet error. These types of mistakes are very rare, but when they are found, they can make a coin extremely valuable. What makes this exciting is that wear does not remove these errors. Even if the coin has been used for many years, the mistake is still there. It may be harder to see, but it has not disappeared. That is why collectors take time to carefully examine even worn coins. The 1971 D Lincoln penny is also part of a larger story in American coinage. During this time, coins were still made mostly of copper, unlike later years when changes were made to reduce costs. This gives the coin a certain weight and feel that collectors appreciate. It also connects the coin to an earlier era of minting. Coins like this are often overlooked because they are common in appearance. Many people see them as just another penny. But collectors understand that value is not always about how a coin looks. It is about what makes it different. A small detail, a tiny error, or a unique feature can turn an ordinary coin into something rare. Now imagine finding a 1971 penny that has one of these rare features. Even in circulated condition, a coin with a strong and clear error can reach values between $110,000 and $145,000 depending on how rare the feature is and how clearly it can be seen. That kind of value is what makes collectors excited about coins like this. This coin also tells a story beyond money. It is a piece of history that has traveled through time. It may have been used in everyday purchases, saved in collections, or even forgotten for years before being rediscovered. Every mark on its surface is part of that journey. If you ever come across a 1971 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark, take a moment to look at it closely. Check the date, the mint mark, and the details of the design. Look for anything unusual, even if the coin appears worn. Sometimes, the smallest difference can mean the biggest discovery. It is also important to handle coins carefully. Avoid cleaning them because cleaning can damage the surface and reduce their value. Keep them in a safe place where they will not be scratched or exposed to harmful conditions. The 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny with the D mint mark is a perfect example of how something simple can hold hidden potential. It reminds us that even the most common coins can carry history, meaning, and sometimes even great value. Because in the world of coin collecting, the real treasure is not always the shiniest coin, but the one that has a story waiting to be discovered. Next up, we take a slow and careful look at the 1972 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny without a mint mark, a coin that many people have seen before, but very few truly understand. At first glance, this penny looks simple and well used. It is in good circulated condition, which means it has spent years moving through everyday life. It may have been used in stores, dropped into jars, or passed from hand to hand without much attention. The surface shows clear signs of wear, especially on the higher parts of the design. Abraham Lincoln's hair and cheek appear smooth, and the sharp lines that once stood out are now softer. The coin has likely turned a full brown color, which is normal for copper after many years of exposure to air and moisture. Even with this wear, the coin still holds its identity clearly. On the front, Lincoln's portrait faces to the right, calm and steady as always. The word Liberty sits on the left side, and the date 1972 is placed on the right. There is no mint mark below the date, and that detail is very important. When a coin has no mint mark, it means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. For many years, Philadelphia coins did not carry a mint mark, so this absence helps collectors understand where the coin came from. The back of the coin shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in use since 1959. Even in circulated condition, you can still see the outline of the building. The words United States of America curve along the top, and 1 cent sits boldly at the bottom. If you look closely, you might even notice the tiny figure of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. It is a small detail, but it adds a lot of character to the coin. Now, let's take a step back and think about the time when this coin was made. The year 1972 was part of a period when the United States Mint was producing large numbers of coins to keep up with demand. Machines were running fast and coins were being made in huge quantities. Because of this, small mistakes sometimes happened during production. Most coins came out just fine, but a few carried errors that would later become very important to collectors. This is where the story becomes exciting. The 1972 Lincoln penny is known among collectors for having one of the most famous doubled die errors in modern coin history. On some rare coins from this year, the date and the words on the front appear doubled. This doubling is not small or hard to see. It is strong and clear, and it gives the coin a very unusual look. It happened because the die used to strike the coin received a misaligned impression during the minting process. Even though your coin is in circulated condition, collectors still look very carefully at coins from this year. The wear may soften the details, but it does not remove the doubling if it is there. That is why every 1972 penny without a mint mark deserves a closer look. A coin that seems ordinary could turn out to be something rare. There are also other types of errors that collectors search for. Some coins may have die cracks, which appear as raised lines across the surface. Others may be struck slightly off-center, where part of the design is missing. In rare cases, coins can be struck on the wrong metal, creating a completely different look and weight. These mistakes are not common, but when they do appear, they can make a coin extremely valuable. The condition of your coin tells its own story. Being in good circulated condition means it still holds most of its main features, even though it shows clear signs of use. The smooth areas on Lincoln's face and the softer lines on the memorial show that the coin has been part of everyday life for many years. The brown color is a result of natural oxidation, which happens when copper reacts with air and moisture over time. This is completely normal and often preferred over coins that have been cleaned, because cleaning can damage the surface. Coins like this are often overlooked, but collectors understand that age, history, and the possibility of errors make them worth checking. Many important discoveries have come from coins that were once ignored. A penny sitting in a jar or mixed with other coins could hold something special. What makes this even more interesting is how collectors think. They do not just look for shiny coins. They look for details, patterns, and anything that stands out. A small difference in the way a letter looks or how a number is shaped can make a huge difference. This careful attention is what turns coin collecting into both a hobby and a form of treasure hunting. Now imagine finding a 1972 penny that has one of these rare features. Even in circulated condition, a strong and clear double die example can reach values between $120,000 and $155,000 depending on how visible the doubling is and how well the coin has been preserved over time. That is a huge jump for a coin that most people would think is just a simple piece of change. This is what makes coins like the 1972 Lincoln penny so exciting. They remind us that value is not always obvious. A coin does not need to look perfect to be important. Sometimes, the most valuable coins are the ones that have been used, worn, and almost forgotten. There is also something special about holding a coin like this. It connects you to a different time. This coin was made over 50 years ago. It has seen changes in the world, passed through many hands, and still exists today as a small piece of history. Every mark on its surface is part of that journey. If you ever come across a 1972 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, take a moment to study it. Look closely at the date and the lettering. Check if anything looks doubled or unusual. Pay attention to the overall design. Even if the coin is worn, it could still hold something rare. It is also important to handle coins carefully. Avoid cleaning them, as this can remove important details and lower their value. Store them in a safe place where they will not be damaged further. Even a simple holder can help protect the coin from scratches and moisture. This coin is a great example of how something small can carry a big story. It shows how history, craftsmanship, and chance can come together in a single piece of metal. It also reminds us that treasures are not always hidden far away. Sometimes they are right in front of us, waiting to be noticed. The 1972 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny without a mint mark may look simple, but it holds a world of possibilities. It invites us to look closer, to learn more, and to appreciate the details that others might miss. And in doing so, it proves that even the most ordinary coin can become something truly extraordinary. Next up, we take a deep dive into a coin that may look simple on the surface, but carries a fascinating story, hidden details, and the potential for surprising value. This is the 1969 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny without a mint mark ***, found today in circulated condition with clear signs of environmental oxidation across its surface. At first glance, this coin may appear old, dark, and worn out. The once bright copper color has faded into a mix of brown, dull red, and even darker patches caused by years of exposure to air, moisture, and everyday handling. Many people would overlook a coin like this without a second thought. But collectors know that coins like this can sometimes hold secrets that are worth far more than 1 cent. The story of the 1969 Lincoln penny *** begins during a time of change in the United States. The late 1960s were years of social, economic, and technological shifts. At the same time, the U.S. Mint was working hard to produce enough coins for a growing population and economy. The Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for 60 years by this point, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. On the front of the coin, also known as the obverse, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner and has remained largely unchanged since its introduction in 1909. Lincoln faces to the right, with a calm and thoughtful expression. Above his head are the words "I in God we trust," which appear boldly across the top edge of the coin. To the left of the portrait is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1969. One very important detail about this coin is the absence of a mint mark. When a Lincoln penny from this time does not have a mint mark, it means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During 1969, pennies were also produced at the Denver Mint, which used a D mint mark, and at the San Francisco Mint, which used an S mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint did not include a mint mark on its coins during this period, which can sometimes make identification more challenging for new collectors. Mint marks are important because they tell us where a coin was made, and in some cases they can affect how rare a coin is. Some mint locations produced fewer coins than others in certain years. Because of this, collectors always examine the area below the date carefully to see if a mint mark is present or not. Turning the coin over to the reverse side, we find the Lincoln Memorial design, which had replaced the earlier wheat penny design in 1959. In the center of the coin stands the detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C. Above the building are the words United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum placed just below it. At the bottom of the coin are the words 1 cent. If you look closely at a well-preserved example, you can even see a tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, making this one of the few coins in the world to show the same person on both sides. Now let's take a closer look at the condition of this particular coin. It is clearly in circulated condition, which means it has been used in everyday transactions for many years. The high points of the design, such as Lincoln's hair and cheek, show visible wear. These areas appear smoother and less detailed than they would on a new coin. The lettering is still readable, but it may not be as sharp or bold as it once was. The surface of the coin also shows scratches, small nicks and contact marks, which are typical for coins that have been handled frequently. These marks are caused by the coin coming into contact with other coins, surfaces, and objects over time. While these imperfections may reduce the coin's condition grade, they also tell the story of the coin's journey through everyday life. One of the most noticeable features of this coin is the environmental oxidation coloration on its surface. When copper coins are first minted, they have a bright red color. Over time, copper reacts with oxygen, moisture, and other environmental elements. This chemical reaction causes the metal to change color, a process known as oxidation. As the coin ages, its color transitions from bright red to reddish brown, then to dark brown, and in some cases even to a deep, uneven tone with patches of darker color. This is exactly what we see on this 1969 penny. The uneven coloration suggests that the coin may have been exposed to different environmental conditions, such as humidity or soil, at various points in its life. Collectors often classify copper coins based on their color into three main categories: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. This coin would fall into the brown, BN, category, meaning it has lost most or all of its original red color. While red coins are generally more valuable because they look closer to their original condition, brown coins are still widely collected, especially when they are older. Now, in most cases, a 1969 Lincoln penny without a mint mark in circulated condition *** is considered a common coin. Millions of these coins were produced, and many are still found in circulation or stored in collections. However, what makes the year 1969 truly exciting for collectors is the possibility of rare mint errors and varieties. One of the most famous and valuable varieties from this year is the 1969 S double die obverse penny ***. Although this rare variety comes from the San Francisco Mint and carries an S mint mark, it has become one of the most well-known error coins in U.S. history. On these coins, the date and lettering appear strongly doubled, which can be seen even without magnification. Even though this specific coin does not have a mint mark, meaning it is not the 1969 S variety, the existence of such famous errors from the same year has made collectors pay close attention to all 1969 pennies. Many people carefully examine their coins, hoping to find unusual features such as doubling, off-center strikes, or other minting mistakes. There are several types of errors that collectors look for in coins from this period. One common type is a double die error, where parts of the design appear duplicated because of a mistake during the creation of the die. Another type is an off-center strike, where the coin was not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing. Collectors also watch for die cracks, which appear as raised lines on the coin caused by cracks in the die used to strike it. In rare cases, coins may be struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, creating unusual and highly valuable pieces. While most 1969 no-mint mark pennies are common, certain rare error examples have sold for impressive amounts. Depending on the type and visibility of the error, some coins from this year have reached values between $125,000 and $195,000. Exceptional examples with clear and dramatic errors can sometimes sell for even higher amounts. This is why collectors always recommend taking a closer look at older pennies, even if they appear worn or discolored. The true value of a coin is not always obvious at first glance. Another important factor to consider is preservation. Coins that have not been cleaned or altered tend to hold more value than those that have been polished or scrubbed. Cleaning a coin can remove its natural surface and reduce its collectible appeal. Even though this coin shows oxidation and wear, it is better to leave it in its natural state rather than attempt to clean it. This 1969 Lincoln Memorial penny without a mint mark is a perfect example of how a simple coin can carry both history and potential. It may have been used to buy everyday items decades ago, passing from one person to another countless times. It may have been stored in a jar, lost and found again, or even forgotten in an old collection. The wear, scratches, and oxidation on its surface tell the story of its long journey. Every mark and color change is a reminder of the years it spent in circulation. While most coins like this remain simple keepsakes, a few rare examples remind us that hidden treasures can sometimes be found in the most ordinary places. For collectors, this is what makes coin collecting so exciting. It is not just about finding perfect, shiny coins. It is about discovering the stories behind each piece, understanding its history, and recognizing the small details that make it unique. So the next time you come across a 1969 Lincoln penny, especially one without a mint mark, take a moment to look at it carefully. Check the date, examine the surface, and pay attention to any unusual features. That worn, dark coin might just hold a secret that has been waiting decades to be discovered. Because in the world of coin collecting, even a single penny can turn into something extraordinary. Next up, we take a closer look at a classic coin from the early 1970s, a piece that many people have seen but few truly examine closely. This is the 1973 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny with the S mint mark, found today in circulated condition with visible wear, light scratches, and natural discoloration from years of everyday use. At first glance, it may look like just another old penny, slightly dull and worn from passing through countless hands. But as always in coin collecting, the real story goes much deeper than appearance. The 1973 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909. By 1973, the design had already been in circulation for over 60 years, making it one of the most familiar coins in American history. These pennies were used in daily life across the country, from grocery stores to vending machines, carrying small but important value in everyday transactions. On the front of the coin, also called the obverse, we see the well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right. Above his head are the words "In God We Trust," while the word liberty appears on the left side. On the right side is the date 1973, and just below or near the date is the small but important S mint mark. This mint mark tells us that the coin was produced at the San Francisco Mint. Mint marks play a very important role in coin collecting because they show where a coin was made. During this time, pennies were mainly produced at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins usually had no mint mark. Denver coins used AD and San Francisco coins used an S. The San Francisco Mint is especially interesting because by the 1970s, it was known for producing mini-proof coins, which are specially made coins with sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. However, it also produced some regular circulation coins like this one. Because of that, collectors often pay extra attention to coins with an S mint mark, checking whether they might be proof issues or special varieties. Turning the coin to the reverse side, we see the Lincoln Memorial design. This design replaced the older wheat stock design in 1959. In the center is the Lincoln Memorial Building, a famous landmark in Washington, D.C. If you look very closely at a well-preserved coin, you can even see a tiny image of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. Above the building are the words United States of America, and just below that is the motto E pluribus unum. At the bottom of the coin are the words 1 cent. Looking at the condition of this particular coin, it is clearly circulated. The high points of the design, especially Lincoln's hair and cheek, show signs of wear. The surface has small scratches and marks, which are normal for coins that have been used in daily transactions. The coin has also lost its original mint luster, meaning it no longer has the bright shine it had when it was first made. The discoloration seen on the coin is also natural. Copper coins like this one react with air and moisture over time. This process causes the bright red color of new pennies to slowly turn into brown or darker shades. This is known as natural toning, and in many cases, collectors actually prefer coins that have not been cleaned or altered, even if they look darker. In most cases, a 1973 S Lincoln penny in circulated condition is considered a common coin. Millions were produced, and many are still found in collections today. However, that does not mean all coins from this year are ordinary. Certain rare varieties and mint errors can make this coin much more valuable. Collectors often look for doubled die errors, where parts of the design such as the date or lettering appear slightly doubled. This happens when there is a misalignment during the die creation process. Another possibility is an off-center strike, where the coin was not properly aligned when it was struck, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. There are also rare cases where coins are struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, creating unusual and highly collectible pieces. These types of errors are rare, but they are the reason collectors carefully check even common-looking coins. Some rare 1973's error pennies have sold for impressive amounts. Depending on the type of error and its visibility, certain examples have reached values between $120,000 and $185,000 in the collector market. Coins with strong doubling, unusual strikes, or unique features can attract serious attention from collectors. This is why even a simple, worn penny like this one should never be ignored without a closer look. Small details can make a big difference. The 1973's Lincoln Memorial penny is more than just a piece of spare change. It is a small part of American history, a coin that has traveled through time and everyday life. It may have been used in stores, saved in jars, or passed from one generation to another. And while most examples remain simple and common, a few rare ones remind us of something exciting. Sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to take a closer look. Next up, the 1969 Lincoln 1-cent penny with an S mint mark, and this is one of those coins that may look simple at first, but the more you learn about it, the more exciting it becomes. At a quick glance, it looks like just another old penny. It has a worn surface, a soft shine, and clear signs that it has been used over the years. But once you start paying attention, you realize this coin comes from a very special time and carries details that collectors look for very carefully. Let's begin with how the coin looks in your hand. This penny is in circulated condition, which means it has been used in everyday life. It is not bright and shiny like a new coin. Instead, it has a softer, duller look. The original red color has mostly faded, and now you see more of a brown or red-brown tone. This happens naturally as copper reacts with air and time. When you tilt the coin under light, you may notice that some areas are darker than others. This uneven color is part of its natural aging. It shows the coin has not been cleaned or polished, which is actually a good sign for collectors. A natural surface is always more trusted than one that has been changed. Now look at the front of the coin. You will see the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln. Even though the coin has wear, Lincoln's portrait is still easy to recognize. His face shows some smoothing, especially on the cheek and jawline. The fine lines in his hair are not as sharp as they once were. This is normal for a circulated coin. Above his head, the words "I in God we trust" are still visible. On the left side, you will see Liberty, though the edges of the letters may look slightly worn. The date 1969 is clear, which is very important. Just below the date, you will find the small S mint mark. This tells us the coin was made at the San Francisco Mint. Now here is where things start to get really interesting. The 1969's penny is known among collectors for one of the most famous error types, double die. This means that during the minting process, the design was impressed onto the coin more than once in slightly different positions. This creates a doubling effect that can sometimes be seen with the naked eye. On some rare 1969's pennies, this doubling is very strong, especially in the date and the word Liberty. Even on a circulated coin, traces of this doubling can still be visible if you look closely. This is one of the main reasons collectors pay close attention to this year and mint mark. Now turn the coin over to the back side. You will see the Lincoln Memorial design. This design had been used since 1959, so by 1969 it was already familiar. On this coin, the memorial is still visible, but the details are softer because of wear. The lines of the building are not sharp and the small details are harder to see. If you look very closely, you might try to find the tiny figure of Lincoln inside the memorial, but on a circulated coin, it is often too worn to notice clearly. The words 1 cent and United States of America are still readable. Around the edges, the letters may look slightly worn, but they are still strong enough to be clear. Now let's talk more about the condition. This coin shows clear signs of use. The high points of the design are worn down, and the surface has small marks and scratches. These marks come from contact with other coins and objects over many years. The coin also lacks its original mint luster. That bright shine you see on new coins is gone. In its place, you have a softer, more even surface. This is what we expect from a circulated coin. But here is something important to understand. Condition is only one part of a coin's value. What really makes a coin stand out is rarity and special features. And that brings us back to the possible errors. The 1969's double die penny is one of the most well-known error coins in U.S. history. Not every 1969's penny has this error, but the ones that do are extremely valuable. Collectors look closely at the date, the word Liberty, and I in God we trust to see if there is any sign of doubling. Even a small amount can make a big difference. There are also other things to check. You might find die cracks, which appear as thin raised lines on the coin. These happen when the metal die used to strike the coin begins to crack. Another feature could be a weak strike, where some parts of the design did not form fully. This can make certain areas look softer than expected, even compared to the rest of the coin. Now think about the history behind this coin. It was made in 1969, a time of change and progress. People were using coins like this every day without thinking much about them. This penny may have been used to buy small items, given as change, or saved in a jar. Over time, it moved from place to place, slowly picking up wear and losing its shine. Each mark on the surface is part of that journey. This is what makes coin collecting so interesting. You are not just looking at metal. You are looking at something that has been part of real life for many years. In today's collector market, the 1969 penny is one of the most talked about coins, especially because of the double die error. Even circulated examples are studied very carefully. Now here comes the part that surprises most people. Even though this coin may look worn and common, it can be worth a very high amount if it has the right features. Coins with strong double die errors and confirmed authenticity have been known to reach values between $120,000 and $250,000 in the collector market. That kind of value does not come from the coin being perfect. It comes from rarity and demand. There are many normal coins but only a few with this kind of error. That is why collectors take their time. They examine every detail, looking for something special that others might miss. The 1969 Lincoln penny with an S mint mark is a perfect example of how a simple coin can hold so much importance. It combines history, design, and the possibility of a rare error all in one small piece. For collectors, coins like this are more than just money. They are discoveries waiting to happen. They remind us that even the smallest objects can carry big stories. So the next time you see a penny like this, take a closer look. Check the date, the mint mark, and the lettering. Look for any signs of doubling or unusual features. Because sometimes, a simple 1969 penny can turn out to be one of the most valuable coins you could ever find.